A big hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's always good to have you. If you're new here, click subscribe and the notification bell, and welcome to part of the family where we have a lot of a good time, inspiration and vulnerability, a lot of vulnerability. And speaking of that, let's talk about motherhood today. So, a lot of people have been saying that you're a mom. Why don't you ever create content around being a mom? And I mean, on November 10th, my son will turn 7 months. And it's just, I've been going through it. So there wasn't much to say because I was not organized. I wanted to kind of see what experience to share with you or gather my thoughts clearly before just haphazardly talking about motherhood. So I'm ready. At least for the first phase of the discussion, I'm ready. Where am I going to start with this conversation? Let's start postpartum. I was one of those women who was gifted to have prenatal depression and postpartum depression. Yeah! God says, just one? No, I'll give you both. Prenatal depression, I mean, you're pregnant, you're going through the, everything. A lot of us do not dodge that one. Postpartum depression for me kicked in, I think, just a few days before I went into hospital because my child was induced. And I think it was a bit of anxiety on what to expect because let me tell you, now that I've gone through having a child and being pregnant, I'm most likely not going to be that scared going in the second time because you know, the hospital, you pass here, then you go here, then the doctor looks like this, then does this. I mean, you already know, you're already anticipating it. The other time it was kind of what's going to happen. And then you go in with the worst kind of thoughts. What if I lose blood and they don't have blood on standby? What if oxygen? What if? So all that anxiety, when I gave birth to my son, it just boom, like plumped up. And I was just sad. I was just sad. You know, you wake up and the baby's right next to you and everybody's like, oh, what a beautiful baby. Oh my. Then nobody cares about you. Okay, you think no one cares about you. Because every time people call you, it's like, how is that baby? Nobody's saying, how are you? Actually, like after the 30 questions, you're there at 31. Hey, and you? How are you healing? You're kawa? That's nice. So the postpartum depression was because I felt alone, number one. But also two, because I like things a certain way. I did not like that after you give birth, it's like a whole circle of people. You know, your mom is here, your husband is here, your friends are here, everybody is trying to do something. And I'm like, can't I do this myself? Are you sure I can't learn how to do this myself? And so just having so many people around me, I was used to a routine. Wake up, go to work, wake up, go to work. And then now it's like, wake up, look at a baby, and look at a baby. So it's just depressing. I can't explain it. Some days you wake up, you cry. Some days you wake up, you don't know what's next. Some days you're not sure if you, and I'm sorry to even say this for all of you who are not mothers yet, some days you're not sure how you feel about the baby. And it's not your fault. Like once you go through counseling and everything, it's not your fault. It's just that so many hormones are happening, the imbalance is too much, things are happening around you. And so you can't help but detest. Sometimes people detest their bodies and say, I look a certain way. Others don't even like their babies. Yeah, some people tell you, I only bonded with my baby like 6 months in. And don't judge them. It happens, honestly. So anyway, I feel like my postpartum depression ended when my son was 3.5 there. Because I'd gone back to work. And just the going back into my routine was a savior. Oh, like I remember just the first day of work was like the first day of school. I'm like, I am leaving the house. I'm like, I love you all, but I am leaving this house. Even if it's 5 hours, bye. You know, you even wake up, you make everyone breakfast. You're like, what else do you need? Me, I'm going to work. I know there are a lot of new mothers or mothers who are like, I feel you, sis. I feel you. I know Manuela was telling me that first she used to just tell her husband, just drive her just around. Like, take me outside of this house, out of this environment, so I can just experience something else. But yeah, did I also mention that what comes with motherhood is insecurities with your body? Check me, who instead of putting on weight in my pregnancy, I lost weight. I think I lost about 7 or 8 kgs in my pregnancy because I was barely eating. I was very sick. And hey, everybody was like, oh, you're just carrying. You know when they say that? It's because you've just got a pregnancy belly, but the rest of you is on point. Then I gave birth. Then I lost even more weight. And then about 4 months in, when I think I was starting to be stable, then I ate food. I'm telling the truth. Pregnancy didn't do it. I ate food. Okay? Then you're breastfeeding. Then your stomach, one is here, one is there. Then you don't know. When you walk, you're like, hey, hold the thighs in. What's happening? It's just like, you're not the same. And then the clothes don't fit the same. Like you have the dress you've worn before. When you wear it, you're like, what's happening? I don't feel sexy anymore. And man, it took me months to, I think last month is when I told myself, man, Flavia, relax, okay? So I was telling myself, every time you look at the baby, you're like, that's progress for me. That's the success. It took 9 months to make this baby, so I'm not going to beat myself over not being in shape quickly. It's more important, actually, I tell myself it's more important for me to put on the calories I need and whatever I need to feed my child than it is for me to look sexy for now. And yeah, I've forgiven myself. So yeah, I work out, I don't neglect my body, I eat right, but I'm also not under pressure anymore to look a certain way for people. Do you know what I mean? Man, motherhood. Next that I want to talk about is just your partner. Because obviously it takes two to tango. You can't have a baby alone, two people. I know it's unfortunate for some people to be in situations where you don't have your partner for whatever reasons, or the father of your child for whatever reasons. My partner was very, very, very present in my pregnancy. I feel like we went through every single problem together. Yeah, I mean, I was experiencing it obviously and he wasn't, but just him being there was amazing. But you get to appreciate each other differently when the baby's here, you know, because now, you know how all your friends have told you, men don't wake up when the baby cries. Men don't change diapers. Men don't feed the babies. Men don't. And you're ready. You've prepared yourself psychologically to be alone. And then you have a partner who's there. For me, I experienced that. You know, he'll actually, it's embarrassing to say, but I think I've changed about 4 diapers in my son's life. My husband does that. But what I learned, not to clap too quickly here, is that we're different. So there's a way he expresses his parenting, and there's a way I express my parenting. Okay, so because even when our son looks at me and looks at the dad, the reactions are different. Like with me, and I've noticed it now, it's more emotional. He looks at me as the gentle side of the relationships he has in the house. He looks at me as someone he should be quiet with and, you know, just cuddle with. And then when his father walks into the house, it's like, yo, let's play. We got this. Yo, let's go. And I'm like, I want that. I also want to play. Me too, me. But every time I scream, my son is looking at me like, relax. So, but then I was also guilty about that. I was like, why is my partner having this much fun with my son, our son, and not me? But I had to thank God that there was a partner, even to do this with. So motherhood, I've noticed, honestly, if you have a partner, try and appreciate their parenting style, because we won't all be the same. And there's no such thing as this is a list. You do 5 things, I do 5 things. No. You parent and let him parent, you understand? Or you parent and let her parent her own way or his own way. So stop forcing people to be certain types of parents, because there are things I do not do that maybe are expected of a mother that I honestly will not do, that maybe my husband will do. It's just how we've chosen to parent. So that was a big lesson so far. Just appreciate each other's ways of parenting. The next thing I wanted to discuss is the other people around you. Just like when you're walking into marriage, when you're walking into parenting or being a mother, everybody piles their advice on you. I remember when my son was maybe about 2 weeks and we just gotten home or anything, everybody was telling us, mix this quickly and feed the child quickly, because if you don't, they'll get colic. Also, get those little mushrooms and then do this. Also, for teething, I said, okay, there are too many doctors, there are too many family aunties and family, it's just too much. But I also never realized how much I needed a circle of sisters, a circle of parents around me. than when it came to motherhood. I remember postpartum, I was going. Friends, the depression was, bah! Every day wake up, hits you differently. But just the fact that till today you have one or two friends call you and say, I'm checking in. What stage are we now? And you're like, man, we no longer cry. You're like, hey, it's like, great. Has the baby started doing this? Yes. Okay. In that case, expect A, B, C, D. Be ready. You're like, yes. And also maybe plan for this and this and this. You're like, hey, really? It won't happen. It will happen. Just plan for it. You know, I like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, nobody ever speaks highly of how women support each other in motherhood. And I wanted to really shine a spotlight on that. The people around you, if you are willing to let them, oh my God, they're willing to help you out. Just, you don't have to pick everybody in the world. Just pick the special people who can do that, okay? Who can call you and just lift the overwhelm off you or lift the expectations and anxiety off you. And for me, I have them. Because I know I've spoken about Manuela before, but I even have another friend of mine called Becky who would just, she even told me, get a journal, start writing. I said, why would I do that? She's like, hey, motherhood, you are going to have feelings. You are going to experience emotions. Just brain dump, write everything. So those little things, yeah, they're nice. The other thing I wanted to chat about when it comes to motherhood is the bond with the child. I know I hinted on it about how some women don't really bond with their children when they're born, like right away. Because, you know, they tell you, the minute you see your baby, your heart will skip and it will leave your chest. And it doesn't happen for everybody. I've read upon it. It really does not happen for everybody. My friends, some of them have gone through it. It really doesn't. I really want to be honest with you. I knew when I was pregnant that I loved you love your child, let's be honest. Even when they're in your belly, you love your child. But I think I told myself not to get too attached. I don't even know why I told myself that, honestly. But I told myself to be the strong woman, the woman who is stern, who will discipline the child, who will be ready for anything in life. Like, I don't know why I was going for that, honestly. Sometimes you're delusional. But when my child was born, I was all about, what do we need to do? It was not about, oh my God, choo-choo, nothing. So I used to just say, is the baby ready to breastfeed? Bring. Breastfeed, and then here you go. Let the baby sleep. What time is it? No, the baby should be. I was so automated that I forgot the little moments. I forgot to stare at his face when he smiled. I forgot to look. When he cried, I was like, keep quiet. Hey, shh. Instead of saying, oh, okay, what's wrong? And then when I saw other people around me do that, I'm like, you're spoiling the baby. And my husband said, the child is 2 months. We can't possibly spoil this child. And I just didn't get it. This is weird to say, but when my child turned 5 months, I started to get those feelings they talk about in the books, in the movies. One day I walk into home and I turn, I look at him, he looks at me, like stare at each other like this. Don't say a word, we just stared at each other like this. And he burst out laughing. I was like, you people are my mom. My son loves me. It's a wrap. I am a mother. And from that day, like, we have our things, we have our code, we understand each other. If I pick him up, he knows it's mommy. You can tell his eyes light up because, yeah, now we have a bond. So I don't know if I was just late to the party. You can tell me if you experience the same. Like, I used to feel so guilty. I'd be like, how do I tell people I don't have that strong bond with my child? Sometimes I'd actually doubt my child knows that this is mommy. You know, but it happens. It happens. So now we're BFFs. The other thing I like to say, and just finalize on this motherhood phase, is the ambition. I honestly used to regard myself a workaholic before I got married or pregnant. When I had my child, it's like somebody told me, you are not going to sleep. Not the sleeping of the child is awake. My child is a really peaceful sleeper. I mean that it keeps you awake. Okay, maybe I want my child to go to this school. Okay, maybe I want my child to have this kind of life. Okay, well, maybe I want to invest for my child. Okay, maybe I want this. Actually, I overwhelm my husband because I'm always telling him, don't we need to put this away for this? And he's like, well, nah, okay, the child will grow. It's okay. It's okay. But the ambition, the fire, the drive that comes with motherhood or parenting, my God. Like actually, if you're having life out there and you're not serious about life, like you feel like, you're blasé, like you don't care, have a child. I feel like that responsibility alone will come like it will overwhelm you, but it will push you. Yes, that's right, but it will push you. And so for me, I feel like even on the days when I'm exhausted, even on the days when I don't really want to do life or do anything, I'm like, but my son will not see a loser. My son will not see failing. My son will he will get a better life than me. So I keep going. So I feel like that's the gift. So that's all I had to share for now about motherhood. But yeah, any parents on here? Let me know your experience so far.